welcome to Saturday Fun Day with Connie. Today, my guest star is the one, the only, the fabulous Bridget with Queen Crafts by Bridget. So, how are you doing today, Bridget?
I am absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. And if anything kind of goes a little like upsy turvy, it's probably my cat Sophie. She may accidentally hit a button because she's right by me and she has a mind of her own. So if something happens where I disappear or something, she hit a button. So I want to welcome everybody here with us and also those that will be watching the replay. And if you do watch the replay, please leave a comment, let us know. And, you know, if you have any information or want to answer a question we ask or something, please feel free to do so. Ooh, we have a good bit of people here right now. We have Liz, Brenda, Chris, um, Ray, Samantha, Granny D, Cheryl, Crystal, Jessica, Angela, and Pamela. How are y'all doing? And also Julia. How are all of y'all doing and what are y'all working on? Today, our main topic is going to be spinning yarn. So if that's something y'all are interested in, hopefully we provide some helpful tips to get you started on your journey. Or maybe if you are a spinner, you might learn something today that you didn't already know. We also have Mandy and Mary. Howdy, howdy. How are y'all and what are y'all working on? Samantha is working on her cottage core mosaic blanket and granny square blanket and sedge stitch blanket. Samantha loves blankets.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, one live I was asking what everybody was working on, and I had so many people saying blankets.
They're beautiful. Not for me. I do a few of them here and there, but
I
they're
know,
so hard to complete.
I, I know. I find blankets you like. I get burnt out easy.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I like that feeling of accomplishment more. I'm on a shawl kick right now. Um, so what type of kick are you on, Bridget?
Honestly, bags.
That's funny because that is a topic that I have been thinking about doing a live on and trying to find like someone that I think that topic would be a good fit with. So I may have to get you back later on to talk
Sounds
about
good to me.
bags.
Sounds good to me.
And this is the first time Bridget has gone live with me. So I'm so happy she's here. Let's see, we have Mindy that joined us too. Um, how are you and what are you working on? Cheryl's working on trellis lace throw. Mandy's working on amigurumi. Jessica, Jessica's getting a hooded vest completed for her boss. Jessica, don't even though you may not crochet as fast, you're still accomplishing something, you know. And sometimes, you know, when you go slower, a lot of times your work looks neater,
Yes.
you know. So, and you're saying you're still learning stitches, so yeah, don't let speed, you know, cloud your mind or anything because we all crochet at different speeds. And some people may never get that quick with their speed, and that's okay. The main thing is if you can make something beautiful.
That's right.
Let's see. Brenda's working on Crystal Bagoday's new Harlequin throw. Bagoday always got awesome patterns.
Yes, it does. Actually, one of hers is. This is one of hers right here.
hmm
The butterfly bag.
Let's see. Mary started a keyhole scarf about 15 minutes ago. Ooh, very, very new project. Crystal says I'm working on the modern blanket of flowers, following the pattern by Julie Yeager Designs. Sweet. Yeah, when y'all finish y'all makes, send me pictures. I do a finished projects video the 15th of every month. So I would love to be able to share y'all finished makes pictures on there. Um, we also have Sarah, but she's not going to be able to stay the whole time. But welcome, Sarah. And what are you working on? Pamela started a crochet basket for Pamela's adoring crochet Valentine crochet along. Jessica wants to know if anyone's doing the 1 minute chain challenge. Are you doing it, Bridget?
Thanks for the reminder. I was supposed to a few days ago and just I'll get there. Yeah, I got to do that one and the amigurumi book tag one.
Yeah, and it's like I'm thinking about doing the 1 minute chain challenge. It's just like right now, I feel like I'm behind on everything. And I'm trying to catch up. Like today, I was working on my emails and YouTube comments, and it's like, and I'm still not caught up. Um, and then I have videos I need to get out, and I'm just like, I need more time in the day. I really do.
That'd be nice.
Um, let's
One of the
let's.
two.
Sarah says I'm working on Spring, the fiber enthusiast stepping stone cowl. Sweet. And we have Pixie Stitch here, and I'm trying to remember your name. I know it.
Veronica.
Monica?
Veronica.
Oh, yeah. V. At least that's how. Okay. See, I knew I was familiar with your name. Let's see. Okay, Granny D's going on some errands. She hopes to be back soon. Have fun, Granny D. Chris is crocheting a cake cozy for larger cakes than for cakes Bridget cozies are for. Exactly, Sarah. Accuracy is more important than speed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Julia says I am working on 2 continuous Granny Square blankets that I was commissioned to make. Oh, Granny B's promoting Bridget's queen bag. So yeah, y'all go check out Bridget's bags. Eh. Oh, you're welcome, Jessica. And don't let things discourage you. You know, sometimes it may take a while to get something down. Just keep at it, and you will get there. Um, if you have questions, ask. You know, a lot of people are willing to help. I try to help people when I can. You know, don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, you're going to get there, and don't let things intimidate you. A lot of times, things may look intimidating, but they are a lot easier to do than what it looks. And especially with crochet, once you know how to chain, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and some aspect triple crochet, but I don't find triple crochet is typically called for as much in patterns, or at
Right.
least not ones that I do. But once you know those stitches, you can make anything. You know, I highly recommend Bag O Day's tutorials. She has a lot of good ones. Um, and there's a lot of good channels for patterns and stuff. Let's see. Okay, what happened to my thing? Okay, we also have the knit and crochet spot. And what's your name? Do you know her name, Bridget?
That one I'm unfamiliar with.
It's like she may have come around before a few times. I'm not clear because I mean that name kind of blends into other names. So,
Right?
but yeah, let us know your name. And we also have Angie here. And how are you and what are you working on? Let's see. Kind of trying to skim to catch up on things. So that way we can get started on everything. Yeah, Sarah's saying that Bridget's bags are fabulous. I have a special one with moose on. I love. Ooh, nice. And we also have Lori. How are you doing today? And what are you working on? Oh, Sarah loves what we're both wearing. Oh, thank you. Mandy saying corner to corner is difficult for her. I recommend Barbara with crochet therapy when it comes to learning corner to corner. When I learned, the irony is that she didn't have that tutorial up yet. And I had trouble learning. You know, I had to look at different tutorials and kind of piece it together. But she has an excellent one. And it's a scarf tutorial with the stitch. It's like a candy cane stripe one. And she did it around Christmas time a couple of years ago. So you might want to check that out. Let's see. So I don't know if you heard me earlier, Ray, but howdy, howdy. How are you and what are you working on? And I see Liz is saying hello again. So I don't know if you heard me either. um, Jessica wants to do a shawl from Bod. She creates some amazing pieces. Yes, she does. Um, and like I said, you know your stitches. You should be able to do, her tutorials. I mean, now one thing I felt like whenever I first learned how to crochet, I did feel like tutorials kind of went faster. So you might want to like slow down the speed or be prepared to do a lot of pausing. Um, let's see. Lori's finished up a cordy with Heartland. Nice. Oh, I didn't know Bagel Day had a corner to corner one. Um, but yeah, I would advise check hers out. She's really good at teaching. Alrighty. So I'm pretty much caught up with everything in the chat. So if anyone's not familiar with Bridget, I'm gonna have Bridget tell y'all a little about herself and her channel. So take it away, Bridget.
Well, I am a disabled person now. I've had a couple heart attacks and a bout with cancer, which led me to a long, crazy life and here to South Carolina. I started crocheting, found Bag O' Day on YouTube, and took off from there. And once I found Bag O' Day, she introduced me to the video side, the like blogging side, podcaster side of YouTube. And I found Rose and, stuff like that. And I decided, you know what, I can do this too. And I started my channel as Queen's Crochet SC. And the SC was South Carolina, not single crochet like everyone thought. But through crochet, then I started knitting. After I started knitting, I decided I wanted to spin. And then all the other crafts came in. But mainly my channel is this is what I feel like making today channel. If I'm in the garden, if I'm cooking something, whatever I decide, inspires me that day and makes me happy. one of my things that I say quite often is to craft your happiness. And by that, I mean simply that. Just do what makes you happy. And,
Exactly.
for me, spinning is my Zen happy place. When I just want to relax and just be in the moment, I sit down at the wheel and I spin. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks.
Awesome. And do you have anything going on with your channel that you'd like to share?
We are doing Stash Down 2023, which is making anything from stash. You can track your yardage, you can track your weight, depending on, you can do both if you want. Now, there's no gifts or anything like this. It's just a fun thing to do as a community. You know, people that do videos are welcome to participate. People that don't, they're welcome to participate. I've had quite a few people so far send me their stats for the month, and I'll be releasing that video tomorrow. I have a Get Ready to 1,000 giveaway going on, which is a hank of hand spun yarn. Anybody that comments on that video and is subscribed to Ray has a chance to win that once she finally gets to her 1,000. I realize we have a ways to go, but I know in my heart that we're going to get her there. So we have that going on. Other than that, we're making a great big giant dragon and making tons of bags. Just simple everyday stuff.
Awesome. And yeah, and if anyone hasn't checked out Bridget's channel, go check her out. I do have her channel link in the description box of today's live. And if one of my moderators could drop her channel link too in the chat, that would be amazing. And another thing too, anyone that has channels, if you type the word drop in the chat, Nightbot will automatically drop your channel link. So yeah, let's help support everybody and check out channels you haven't checked out. And one thing too, for those that don't know, this is my cat Sophie. She hasn't been around in a video in quite some time, but this is my Sophie, and she's a wiggle worm. She don't want to be still, so she makes things more difficult for me. But she wants attention.
Mine attacked me this morning. Hopefully she's good for a while.
Awesome. Oh, thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate you becoming a Stitchin alien. Trying to get that out. So I'm gonna play a little quick video. If I can find my videos. Here it is. And again, Jessica, thank you so much. And with becoming a Stitchin alien member, you're going to get 5 of my patterns for free. So I need you to send me an email. And I have it up on the screen right here. Send me an email and I'll send you the link for my patterns so you can decide which ones you want. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something. Sophie's breaking my concentration. Okay, go right there. But yeah, send me an email so I can get your patterns to you. Okay. And we also have Flip Flops and Lollipops that joined us. How are you? And what are you working on? Pamela says Sophie looks a lot like my Jilly. Aww. Okay, now Sophie's going to the window. Oh, she's something else. Okay. So where was I? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Do you have any whips or finished projects you want to share with everybody?
I really don't. I have a
That's
part of
fine.
dragon. That's all I did.
That's fine. Oops, my camera's off. Come on. It's still a little low. Give me just a second. It keeps wanting to go back. Come on. Okay. Now I'm a little higher. Oh, now it fell. Ah. Anyway, we have Angel, Renee, and Jay that joined us. How are y'all? And what are you working on? So, like I said, we're talking about spinning yarn today. Oh, Kat, why do you have to make things difficult? Okay. So, most of y'all probably know what spinning yarn is. But in case you don't, it's basically the process of drawing out fibers from a mass and twisting them together to form a continuous thread of yarn. So, basically it just makes fibers into yarn. Which I have never done spinning. So, I'm not the most knowledgeable about it. Basically my knowledge comes from stuff that I found like online and stuff. And I previously had another guest star that spoke on the subject. So I learned some stuff from her. So Bridget is the one that knows way more about spinning than me. And you did say that you were a beginner to spinning, right?
Yes, I am. Actually got my first wheel 6 months ago. My first traditional wheel.
So how long have you been spinning yarn?
The first time I ever spun was a couple of years ago, but actually spinning and completing a hank of yarn about 6 months
Awesome.
because I tried a few different methods, and at the end of the day, those methods were fine, but not what I was looking for. Sometimes, because there are so many different tools to do the exact same thing, you have to find the tool that best fits you and the way that you want to do things or the way that you're able to do things.
Yeah, and
um,
that's one thing that, like, with research that I've done on this topic, you know, they do say just because something's recommended doesn't mean that you can't do it like a different way. Like typically they recommend spindles for a beginner, but some people will learn off of a wheel, which we're about to get more into that part of it. Um, let's see, we have Sally that joined us. Hi, Sally. How are you? And what are you working on? Um, and when it comes to spinning yarn, you learned from a spindle originally.
yes, I built my first spindle.
Ooh, so I was going to ask you what type of spindle you had, and that is one thing you can build your own spindles. Um, but
With
yeah, and if you
household
don't,
objects.
and if you don't know what a spindle is, it's a straight rod, typically wooden, and it's designed to twist or spin fiber into yarn. And with a spindle, that's what they. Oh, you have one showing. Awesome. Basically, they recommend spindles more for a beginner. They're less expensive, and they also say that. Let's see. The movement to juggle with there's less movement to juggle with the wheel with spinning, so you have more juggle room with the spindle. um but the main thing is it's a lot cheaper. Do you have any recommendations for spindles for a beginner, like maybe what brand or type?
Not really. I mean, most spindles are the same as any other spindle. You know, I mean, it's going to be a little bit different weight, or the top might be a little bit different. Um, but really just pick one up. And I would suggest, if you think, well, I'm just going to spin, you know, and it wasn't really a thought before, but it was a thought because your girlfriend does it, go as cheap as possible. Because the chances are, even if you like spinning, you're not going to want to stick with the spindle because it's slow. And most of us get our gratification at the completion of a project, not doing the project. I mean, yes, it's fun to do the project, but that feeling you get when you put that last stitch in or you weave that last end in can't compare, you know. So go get cheap. Go on Amazon. It's a piece of wood. That's all it is, you know, with a little top whorl on it and a little bitty hook. And a lot of times you can get fiber with the spindle. And so you can try that. Or you can do like I did, and you go to Walmart and you get yourself a dowel. You know, it's in the craft section, costs you 89 cents to $1. They also have packs of these round cutouts. You put a hole in it, big enough for your rod to go through. You go to the hardware section and you get a hook and you put it in the top. Put some wood glue on there and try it out. Now, this doesn't work as good as a bought spindle, but it did allow me to know, okay, yeah, I like that process. Cost me $2.
And that's one thing, you know, if you don't know if you're going to pursue something long term or not, or if you're going to like it, you know, it's best not to invest too much money. But in the same aspect, there are times where you kind of need quality to do things, where you could be wasting money if you're trying to get things as cheap as possible. I made that mistake with circular knitting needles. um, because with knitting, when you use circular knitting needles, you need quality.
Yes.
Because that cord in between the needles can split if you get cheap ones.
Or make it so difficult that you think you can't knit. And it's not you, it's the needles.
Mm-hmm. Cheryl saying she saw someone use a pencil for spindles.
Yeah. I've seen people use a CD or a DVD.
And one thing I do want to mention to everyone, you know, if y'all have any questions to do with spinning that you want to ask Bridget, feel free to do so. Because this is all about trying to help people, trying to help people learn, you know. So, you know, I do hope that y'all come away from this live with some helpful knowledge. Let's see. We also have Linda that joined us. How are you? And what are you working on? Okay, Jessica says she emailed me. I'll probably get back with you either later today. It may not be till tomorrow. But I will get back to you in the next couple of days. Let's see. Okay. And then, of course, next you also have the spinning wheel, which is pricier.
Mm-hmm. But
and that's where it's kind of like you really want to make sure that you're serious about spinning yarn before you invest the money on one.
There is one step between the spindle and a traditional wheel.
Okay.
What
was that?
Which is this right here. Oh, go this way. Left is right. This is an electric spinning wheel.
Oh, neat.
Cost is under $300. So expensive, but not, oh my God, I just, you know, broke my bank. You know, They do have smaller ones, like this is the eel wheel, and they do have the nano, which is around, I believe, $150, somewhere in there, 160, something like that. But I would suggest, if you try the spindle and you like it, but it's not fast enough for you, jump up to the eel wheel instead of the nano, only because the bobbins are big enough to not have to tie knots every 50 yards. Because the nano is so small, and that's a problem I've seen a few of my friends have. They really like it. They love the process, but now they're thinking about buying this one, so look into them and decide what kind of yarn you want to make before you buy one. Because if you want to make like a full-size hank, you're not going to want to buy something that's miniature. But these are wonderful for like going out and about. Like if you want to go to the park and spin, or go to a craft group or something like that, these are absolutely wonderful for that.
Now, is there like a certain brand or anything that you would recommend?
Um, I would recommend this one only because this is the one I have. This is the one I've tried, and I've heard extremely good reviews about it. I've had absolutely no issues with it. This is the Eel Wheel 6. You can Google search them and they'll pop right up. Everything is 3D printed. It's very lightweight, and they give you a good amount of bobbins and whatnot with it. The instructions with it are fairly clear. It for the amount of money you spend for it, it is a very good machine.
Awesome. And I see Cheryl's asking, is it worth keeping yarn ends to spin someday?
I
Oh,
If something's worth it or not isn't a question I don't think I could ever ask or answer, because what's worth it to me and what's worth it to you is going to be
subjective.
yeah. I personally wouldn't, but they could make some really awesome fleck in your spinning. So that would be something that you could keep them for if you wanted to make them even like smaller little bits. And you can put like a tray underneath where you're spinning at. And every once in a while, you dab what you're spinning into that, and that's how you make your fleck yarn. So if that's something that you're into, yes, it's definitely worth it. If you want really super smooth yarn, really consistent, then it's probably not your thing.
I'm laughing. Liz put, what's a CD? Laughing out loud. But some younger people may not actually know what a CD is,
Right? Oh my goodness, we're
like
getting
a
old.
cassette or 8-track record. Y'all remember those days? Lori says she's got her Nano. Liz has an e-wheel. And we have Anita that joined us. Howdy, howdy. And what are you working on? I can't talk. What are you working on today, Anita? Oh, Veronica's going to be getting a spindle to see if I like spinning. Yeah, let us know if y'all are planning to try spinning, or maybe like, after this live, y'all decide to try it out. I would love to hear from y'all and hear about it. I like to know when I'm a bad influence on people, but in a good way.
Right. Enabler.
Let's see. Kim's here too. How are you? And what are you working on? And Cheryl said had 8-track in my car. And I remember the 8-tracks because we used to have one when I was like really young. Um, let's see. Cheryl says, oh, I already read that, sorry. Kim says, I have a ladybug and 10 to 12 spindles. Okay, this may be a dumb question, but is a ladybug like involved with spinning?
It's a wheel.
Okay.
It's I believe it's the name of that style of wheel. It might, I don't think it's the brand. I believe it's the name of that style, but I could be wrong. There are so many different kinds of wheels.
And Jessica says spinning sounds so relaxing. And yeah, in a lot of aspects it does look like it would be. Um oh, Kim's working on a product review. Is it to do with spinning? So now we're going to get more into the spinning wheels, which I mean the wheels for spinning, which I was starting to get into, and I didn't realize there was an in between. But yeah, wheels tend to be more expensive, so that's where you do need to be more serious about wanting to spin yarn before you invest. Um, do you have any advice on wheels?
My advice would be if you have the opportunity, find a local yarn shop that has spinners that come there or a spinning group. Go and look at their wheels. Some of them may let you, some shops you can test the wheel out, because there are different styles. There's double treadle, there's single treadle. Um, so try it before you buy it. Don't do like I did and have Fiona sitting back there, the ogre that doesn't get played with because she's an ogre. And had I actually tried her out prior to buying her, I probably wouldn't have.
And one thing too, be very careful getting like a wheel secondhand. I mean, some people may get lucky and have a good experience, but when you get something like that secondhand, there typically is something not quite right with the wheel, kind of like a used sewing machine. So be very cautious about that. You know, I think
If,
it's I think it's amazing when you can get a good deal that works out. But this is something be very, very careful with.
yeah, I got very, very lucky. I got both of mine off of Marketplace, but that one there, like I said, I haven't successfully spun an entire hank of yarn on that thing yet. I've changed springs. I mean, I'll get her there because I know you can successfully spin yarn on that wheel. I've seen people do it. But she is definitely an ogre. And one wheel isn't the same as another wheel, even if it's the same wheel.
And
All
do
of
you
them,
have
just like a car, have personalities.
yeah, and do you have like a brand you would recommend or anything?
Ashford. I love my Ashford. And I'm looking at buying a third wheel, and it's an Ashford.
Let's see. We have Margaret that joined us and Lisa. How are y'all and what are y'all working on? Um, oh, awesome. You got your sweater done. Send me a picture of it, Lisa. I want to see it. Kim saying, I don't shacked. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Shacked ladybug spinning wheel is what
Yeah.
I have. There is a ladybug jewel that is hand placed by the individual crafter of the wheel. Each wheel has the ladybug in a different place. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Lori says you also need the space. Yeah, keep that in mind if you get the wheels. And Kim's knitting an Intorsia project, and I know I'm not saying that quite right. I always have trouble saying it. Intorsia.
I think it's just Antarja, but I could be wrong.
Certain words give me fits. Like certain words, and especially those that watch y'all often, y'all probably notice this with me that like certain words for some reason I just can't get those words right. Let's see. Kim says, if you get a wheel secondhand, you need to know what is supposed to be there and how it works. I got mine secondhand for half the retail price, but I knew what I was getting and it was all there. Yeah, that is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And when I first bought my Ashford, I have the Ashford Traveler, and there were parts missing. I had no clue. Now she still spun yarn, but she was a bit of an ogre at the beginning too because there were parts missing. Once I looked up everything and became more knowledgeable with her and replaced those parts, now she's all the time princess, just perfect. I don't have issues with her anymore.
Awesome. And I keep wanting to say pixie stitch, but it's Veronica. Um, I love my Ashford loom and ball winder. Yeah, and like those that spin, let us know what you use to spin your yarn on, and let us know some of your experiences with spinning. Kim says because my wheel retails for 1,000, and I was not wanting to spend that, but I knew I wanted a ladybug.
Yeah. Ladybugs are nice. I was looking at them before I got these.
Sweet. um, Now next I want to talk about the fibers.
Okay.
Um, Really any fiber should be able to be used for spinning yarn, but wool tends to be the most recommended for a beginner. It has a nice long staple length, but not too long, and it's also gentle on the paws, hands. I'm around cats too much, so I start calling my hands paws. So would you agree with that wool is the best for beginners, or
That's what I started with. I know a lot of spinners that teach spinning. A lot of them recommend the acrylic. It's an acrylic wool blend that you can get at Hobby Lobby. I myself have never used it. I have a ball of it. It was sent to me by the wonderful Ray. um, but yeah, you can't be afraid to mess it up. And that's where a lot of people are like, I'm going to use the acrylic because I don't want to mess up the good wool. Well, even if it looks like this and it's crazy and it's lumpy here and smooth there and skinny itty bitty tiny there and great big here, it still makes a beautiful project. I have a shawl hanging up right here that was made with my first spin, and it was lumpy bumpy art yarn, and people pay good money for art yarn. They make it on purpose. So don't look at your first spin and go, oh, I didn't make yarn like that looks like it came from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. It's okay. It's not supposed to look like Walmart yarn or Hobby Lobby yarn. It's supposed to look like your yarn.
and another thing too, a lot of times, usually the main thing that matters is do you like it?
Right.
Or like say you're gifting it type thing or making something for someone else. Is it something they like? You know, because not everyone has the same taste. And to me what matters is who is the one that's going to have that item. That's the opinion that matters. I see we have Lauren that joined us and Nancy. Howdy, howdy. How are y'all? And what are y'all working on? Um, Margaret's working on a chevron lap afghan. And I see Lori says I love thick and thin yarn for spinning. And Kim says I suggest a long staple for first spinning. Wool is such a broad term. Alpaca is a wool, but just short and slippery Oh, but too short and slippery for a beginner. Um, Usually, but always try and go for what you want to do.
Got it.
And one thing, I may try to have you come on live with me later on, Kim. Because I like getting like different people's, experiences, and you know, like one person may share one thing and someone else has something else. I like hearing, it from different people too.
Right.
Um, or if anyone else is a spinner and would be interested in coming live with me down the road. Like currently, I have one spot I think left available for February, so more than likely it would be like March. but but yeah, I love getting people to talk about like different things, and I like trying to get helpful information. Let's see. Okay, Sarah, I hope you have a good day. Oh, Veronica wants to know, are cotton and plant fibers hard to spin?
I couldn't answer from a have done it kind of point of view because I haven't yet. Um, I, from what I've heard, they are because they're a shorter staple length and you have to spin them a little tighter. But I think that's going to depend on what particular, because just like wool, not all cottons are the same. U.S. cotton versus, cotton grown somewhere else, the staple length is different and everything. So it's really broad a question to try to answer.
Yeah. Oh, and some people prefer certain things over others. Like what Kim's saying. I think it was Kim. Hold up. Yeah, I am a go for what your heart wants.
Yep.
And she also says bamboo is a little slippery, but things like silk is fun. Liz is a new spinner. Awesome. Kim's commenting about how silk is slippery too. And it's funny how silk came up because I did a live a while back on the subject of silk yarn. You know, and actually today I'm planning to get a video up on some makes that people have made using silk yarn. You have something you're sharing?
I have some mulberry silk right here.
Ooh, that looks so soft.
It is wonderful, and it's spinning up like spider's thread. It's right now. I think it's spinning at like 80 reps per inch. So it's thin, and I had to dial my wheel way back because it kept just trying to rip it out of my hands. That has been an extremely different experience than spinning my merino wool or Corriedale or any of that. I'm currently doing a breed study right now so that I know what kind of sheep I want to get for the farm.
Nice. Lori's even commenting how cotton has different lengths. Um, Now I am curious, Bridget, what fibers have you used with spinning yarn?
I've used a few different wools, and I've used the mulberry silk. Other than that, in my short amount of time, I haven't gone anywhere because I really love working with my merino wools and like the Corriedale and stuff like that. I love working with it. I love making stuff out of it and wearables and that, because here in South Carolina, you cannot wear acrylic. Even wide open lacy stitches, you sweat to death. So I like to use the natural fibers because then I can use it more.
Awesome. Now, do you have any other advice when it comes to fibers?
When it comes to fibers, no. Spin what you like to use. If you don't like to use wool, don't spin wool. If you don't like to use kitchen cotton, don't spin U.S. cotton. you know, um, you just try it. I say try it all. just go for it and jump in, because what you think it might be, it might not end up being, you know? So there's no harm in jumping in and trying it all.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, Jessica wants to know. Well, this has to do with a different topic. Does anyone know why Nightbot has a different channel link than what my channel displays? Sometimes, not all the time, she lose subbies when the link is different. The only thing I can think of is there's probably other like people that go by Jessica like that with their YouTube accounts or channels. You're probably not the only one. And Nightbot probably picks, I see Kitty, probably picks kind of like the first one that it comes across, would be my guess. You might want to kind of change up your name a little bit, maybe where, you won't experience that. I typically I really don't recommend changing your channel name once you start putting content out, because I think it can confuse your viewers. Um, I feel it's best to be consistent with your channel name, but in your case, it probably would be best. Maybe do like Jessica, something Yorny after it. Um, that's what I would advise, and see if that changes things. Um, oh, welcome to YouTube though, Jessica. Lisa's saying I don't spin, but my grandmother did. I miss watching her and her sing the old spinning, um, and her sing the old spinning wheel. Oh, nice. Oh, Kim's saying it could be Jessica because there are fake night bots. So make sure you have right one. Um, so did it drop wrong for mine? Because when I have mine programmed that anyone types the word drop, it's supposed to automatically drop their link. Oh my. Ali does that to me. Aw, hi Kitty. Aw. Share Kitty. What's your kitty's name?
Yeah, this is Miss Sassy.
Hi Miss Sassy. Aw.
She's rotten, just like the
Oh,
rest of the kids.
Jessica, Kim says she sees the issue that you're having, so contact her and she should be able to help you. Um, let's see. We have Kim that joined us. How are you and what are you working on? Oh, okay. Liz is asking, what do you recommend to buy colorful yarn? I'm sorry, colorful wool or white wool?
Well, that depends. Do you like to dye, or do you like um not to? If you like to dye your own, if you like to play with color, buy undyed, because it's going to cost you a lot less. And then you can decide, dye it pre-spin, dye it post-spin. You can play with both. You can dye it pre-spin and over dye post-spin. However you want to do. It's your art, your way. I like to get the great big bundles because I'm a cheap skate, and I like to get a couple pounds of fiber at a time for the price that a lot of people are paying for a couple 4-ounce braids, and that way I can play with color and have fun that way, and then I get to turn around and spin it. I like to spin mine after being dyed, only because I love watching the colors blend and play with each other as they're spinning. But if you want a more consistent um, color, you probably want to color it after you're done spinning it.
Um, let's see. I think we pretty much got into the yarn fiber stuff. Is there anything that needs to be added, that we didn't go over?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing I've learned that no one tells you in any of the videos that when you're trying to learn to spin, especially by the wheel, the most important thing to do is take your shoes and socks off and put your foot on the wheel. They don't tell you that in the videos, but you need to feel the minute changes in your wheel. And to do that, you need to have skin contact with it. So don't feel weird. Take your shoe off and spin, because that's how everyone does it. Because when I first started that way, I'm like, people are going to think I'm a weirdo. I'm wanting to take my socks and shoes off. I'm at here at the yarn store with the ladies, and here I'm walking around barefoot. You can't be doing that, But it's okay. Make contact with your wheel. And above all else, relax and enjoy it.
I'm noticing Kim wants you to talk about plawing.
Okay. Well, a lot of people like to 2 or 3 ply. My preferred method is chain plying, which a lot of people are like, chain plying is too hard. I can't do it. I love to chain ply. And I love to chain ply because I don't like to waste anything. And sometimes when you 2-ply, even if you split your fiber exactly in half, you'll run out of fiber on one bobbin and still have fiber left on the other bobbin. Now, what am I going to do with this? I don't want to waste it. It was good fiber, But what do I do with it? If I chain ply my yarn, I take this one strand of yarn and I turn it into 3 strands of yarn as I'm spinning it. I don't have to worry about when the end comes, because it's going to spin back onto itself. No wasted yarn, no wasted spin. But that again is something, you have to decide what you want for your project and the things that you like to do and your final look. I can oh, it ran away. Hold on 1 second.
That's how it always goes.
Now this yarn here is 2-plied. So it's 2 singles plied into 1 yarn. But this yarn here, and you see how all the colors kind of play with each other and they mix and interchange with each other, right? Well, now with chain plying, I'm able to put all the color in, and then all my color stays together. All my darker purpley reddish color is together. Then all the light lavender is together. So I'm able to make either a self-striping or a color block yarn by chain plying it, because I know exactly where my colors are going to change at. So if you're a control freak, you make yarn like this. If you're free-spirited, you make yarn like this.
Now, Bridget, Liz is wanting you to do a video on how to chain ply.
I can work on that. Liz made me do lots of videos.
And I see we have some other questions that people are asking. Kim also says if you could bring up about wheel maintenance and how it's so important.
Yes. You must oil your wheel. You must take care of it, because just like your car's not going to go down the road properly for you if you don't take it in and get scheduled routine maintenance. It's a simple machine, but it is a machine. So you need to make sure that it's clean, dust it off good, because that dust and gunk gets in there. Things don't move right. Things get broken. There are wheels that have been around for hundreds of years because they were taken care of. There are wheels that were made a couple years ago that were made out of decent material that are destroyed because they just kept spinning and spinning and spinning, and it don't take long. Dust it down, a couple drops of oil, where things move at, you know, and you're done. So yeah, that's definitely very important. And if you want a quiet spin and you don't want to hear clink, 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 oil your wheel.
And I see Lori's asking, what is the best place to buy the fiber in bulk?
I actually have a link under one of my videos, but it's it's shepwool.com. It's all US wool. It's all done here. Now they don't have a wide variety of different wools. Like you can't do a breed study going through them. But if you're wanting a really nice superwash merino wool with some beautiful, brilliant colors, or just the non-dyed wool, they have fabulous deals, and their customer service is above and beyond. I had a little accident when I ordered with them the first time. For some reason, an address I had 20 years ago got put in as the shipping address. As I was trying to change that, I bumped a button and the order was submitted. So I got a hold of customer service and please, please, please don't send it there. Send it here. Within 24 hours, they contacted me and had my shipment coming to the correct place.
Good,
so,
good.
I mean, hands down, I would recommend this company. I've used them several times. Their shipping is extremely, extremely quick. I'm talking 3-4 days from time to order to product at my door.
And if one of my moderators could drop that link, that would be awesome. It was, what was it, Shep Wool?
Yeah, shepwool.com.
Let's see. Oh, I thought there was another question. Kim's asking, how much on average do you spend for a pound of wool?
This was 1 pound for me. Oh, I got 3.
Pretty.
But, like, you know, I'm still new, so, I mean, I probably could have gotten more. But this will definitely be enough for a tank top for me. So, and that was his intention of making it, so.
Now, I am wondering if maybe she also meant, like, the pricing.
Oh,
That could really vary, though.
This one I got pre-dyed, and I believe I paid $30 with the shipping. I might be off on that a little bit, but it wasn't bad. It was way cheaper than if I would have gone out and bought 3 hanks of yarn. So, I mean, granted, I can't start knitting with it that day, but anything worth having is worth waiting on.
And Kim's mentioning when it comes to maintenance of the wheel, she uses WD-40 for the joints, but you also need to tend to the wood with a natural wax.
I use my sewing machine oil for my joints.
And my next question I have for you, and those of y'all in the chat or that watch the replay, y'all may have some other good resources to share. So feel free to post about them. But what resources do you recommend for learning to spin yarn? Like channels, books, website, that type of thing.
Depending on what kind of learner you are, some of the books are really good. Some of the channels, they do a good job. Sometimes I think because they've been spinning for a long time, they omit information, not realizing that they're omitting that information because it's such second nature to them. Just like take your shoe off.
Which was one
you know.
one reason where when you said you were more of a beginner, I was kind of like, beginners can relate better, because they just learned something. It's more fresh in their head, where someone that's more experienced, it becomes second nature, and they don't think to mention certain things.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But also, I wanted to say there are different fiber preparations too to be considered when you're spinning as well. There's we have like this is a vat. It comes off of a drum carder, and now this will spin. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yarn more like this, where it's a little more lumpy, bumpy, thick and thin, um, versus my braid spinning yarn like this, or the roving. Um, so, when you're deciding on what kind of things or when you're deciding all your decisions, yeah, that's how you're going to put that one. Because there are so many different things, try it all. Don't spend $1 million going out and buy 30 pounds of roving and then decide, oh, but I like to spin from a vat better. Buy a vat, buy a hank or a braid of roving. Buy little amounts. Don't go out and spend a lot and then, oh no, I don't like it. My biggest suggestion, if you have that option for learning, is going to a local yarn shop that also has spinners or like a spinning group, because you can touch it, you can feel it, and you might even be able to try it out. I know the shop that I go to, she will allow you to sit and spin with some of the house wheels so that you can decide, well, this is for me, this isn't for me, you know. Look into it, because there's lots and lots of free ways of trying this hobby out without, inputting a ton into it.
And one channel I would recommend is Spring the Fiber Enthusiast. She does a lot with spinning. And if one of my moderators could drop her link, that would be awesome. Um, and I know on her lives, she's typically like spinning while she's live. Um, I'm trying to think of other people, but
There's also another one I would recommend, and the fiber I would recommend is from Crafty Housewives Yarns. They have a YouTube channel and they also have a website. That's actually where this came from. If anybody seen the unicorn friendship yarn that I sent out to various people, that that fiber braid came from there, and they have a subscription so that you can, get a braid a month or a vat a month or whatever to try different things out. I would suggest even going over and checking out her channel. She shows different techniques of doing different things, and they have some really, really inexpensive, beautiful fibers to work with.
and I know previously it was, I think her channel's um Bears Crochet Critters.
Miss Brenda,
Oh,
yep.
yeah, Brenda. I wasn't sure if I quite had her channel name right. I always call her Brenda Bear. But she does a lot with spinning. And I had her previously on a live talking about it. And I don't remember if I actually started a playlist yet on lives to do with spinning. But if I haven't, I plan to, put today's live and that live in a playlist. So y'all may also find some helpful information on that live. And
Yeah.
then, you can also go to her channel too. And if one of my mods could drop her link, Bears Crochet Critters.
And Brenda does a lot with like flax fibers and stuff like that, more plant-based fibers than I've dove into yet. She's got some beautiful wheels.
And I see Kim saying Juanita from She Spins is one. Uh, Trish with Fiber Love Diary is one that Lori recommends. Hopefully I didn't miss any of the other ones. Veronica says this all is really interesting. I know I'm not saying much, but I'm soaking it all in. And really, I was like that. Like whenever I had the live with Brenda, because I'm just like it, I felt like everything was just going over my. um, but it is kind of funny though because I actually retained more of it than what I realized. Because whenever I was kind of like looking for things to prepare for today, I was like, okay, I remember this. And I see there was a question. Cheryl's asking, is there a particular fiber to get yarn with Halo?
No, that's a particular kind of spinning. If you want more fluffy, floofy yarn, you want to spin woolen, I believe it's called. I'm still with the terms. Like, oh, where'd it go? There it is. Like this one here, I just spun, and it is way more with the loose, fibery, fingery, than what this yarn is. This yarn, I did a short forward draw, where this yarn, I did a long draw technique, which I still have a lot of learning to do in that one. But Liz says she loves it, and this one's hers. So if she loves it, I love it. If it's gonna make her happy, it's gonna make me happy.
Kim's saying it's called woolen.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but
And we also have Lorele that just joined us. How are you and what are you working on? We should be getting close to wrapping things up. Um, my last thing that I wanted to ask Bridget if she has any other tips or helpful advice to do with spinning that we didn't like cover.
just don't be afraid to mess it up. That's really my biggest thing. Don't be afraid to mess it up. Jump in and have fun, relax, you know, because if you really, really wanted to, even if you messed it all up and you overspun it all, if you want to put the work into it, you can comb it back out and respin it. It's not ruined, it's not destroyed. You can do it again.
And that was one concern that I had because really in my mind I was thinking like it would be, like if you don't like it, it would be, but I didn't realize that you could actually redo it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the backside, but like I was even sent some factory yarn, and I'm respinning that yarn to turn it into what I would consider to be yarn because it's unspun floof.
I don't remember if I had greeted Angela earlier. If I didn't, howdy howdy. Oh, Kim's talked about how to store your fiber, which actually there was a live that I did talking about organizing, you know, your yarn and stuff like that and how to store it. So what advice do you have on that, Bridget?
I keep mine clean, dry, and in a dark area, but I also keep a few cedar blocks in with it so I don't have to worry about moths because with natural fibers, if a moth got in, I would have a lot of trouble. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Hubby came in. But yeah, I just keep it clean. I keep it bagged up, you know. You don't want to put it in any sort of like vacuum bag or anything like that because you don't want to suck all the air out of there. But just keep it dry, keep it clean. Don't buy enough of it where you got it stored in the back shed for 3 years. Buy
Yeah.
and use it up, and then buy some more.
Yeah, because on that live, we basically talked about how some fibers need to breathe more than others. So that's one thing. But you really kind of want to make sure like it's it's not like open
Yeah,
because you don't want like dust to get on it, rodents, dampness.
all mine is kept in these. And I go through and move things around, rotate, put my hands on things, because I have a horrible memory and I can't remember what things are.
Um and I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that we had kind of gotten into to mention briefly, but that was more of the main things. And we did get into the vacuum seal. That if you're gonna do that, I really wouldn't do it for like your fancier yarns, and I wouldn't do it like for a long term storage.
No.
Um, but let's see. I think there was a few other questions. Kim saying, what was the name of the housewives YouTube?
Oh, Crafty Housewives.
Let's see.
If not, I will have them linked in my next video because the fiber bat I showed you, I have to video yet.
Lorele's saying, I figured you were about done. I'm always late. Yeah, and I think sometimes people get like time zones confused and
I was triple, quadruple checking because you're an hour behind me, so.
yeah, and normally like, with my guests, I usually send the link about 15 minutes before the live starts. Let's see. I'm glad that this live has been helpful. And I so appreciate Bridget for coming and sharing her knowledge and information. Uh, yeah, Kim saying it needs to be kept so it cannot sweat and mold or smush. Yep, you don't want that dampness in there. Kim's also saying it's hair for an animal. Think about caring for it like your hair.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz wants to know, how do you set the spin?
Hot water. I put mine in a baking cake pan and use some very hot water. Let it sit, until the water cools. And then there's the fun part of beating up the yarn. I love flacking my yarn. That is my most favorite part. I love spinning, but flacking it's even more fun. Because, if the hubby's made you mad that day, just beat it into the yarn and you're good afterwards. And you have a beautiful yarn to show for it. But there's different people do set the twist different ways. Some go from hot water to cold water to hot water to cold water, back and forth, shocking the yarn. Some just put tap hot water. Some put almost boiling water. The key thing is if when you're using hot water, don't swish your wool around, because if you're swishing it around with that hot water, you're going to felt it. Excuse me. If you just let it rest in the hot water, it will set it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris is saying spinner dash Jillian Eve. I'm presuming that must be a channel. I'm not sure. And I do have another question for you, Chris. I had gotten an email from you yesterday, and um, at least I presume it was from you. it it was a little odd, um, and I wasn't really sure what you were referring to, but it says something about finding something cheaper. I think on another site over Amazon. Um, and then it kind of had like some of your order information type thing. I mean, it didn't have any like other than like your email address. It didn't have anything like that. Like you don't want out there. But I wasn't sure if it was definitely you that sent it. I mean, it looked like your email address, and also I wasn't really sure, like what it was about. So I thought I would mention that to you. Let's see. Kim says, no agitation, let it cool, then whack. Lori wants to know, would hanging it up in her craft room closet a good idea? I guess you're referring to like the yarn storage. It it really kind of depends on what you're storing it in, because I would recommend something that gives proper protection. If you just have it kind of like open in your closet, stuff can get to it more. But you might have something that, there were some examples of things on the live I did. um I can't think of it though. But you do have certain hanging things that like fully like protects the yarn over like having it open.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have it hanging on like a hanger type thing, but like I have a shoe pouch that hangs over the door, and I have a few of my hanks in those.
And that, yeah, the shoe racks was something, but you still got the opening typically, like the front and the back. um but I think there's certain things that are more like completely where the yarn would be completely protected, but I just can't think of what it actually is. But I mean, you have so many like organizational things, for closets, and you know, but usually if you have your more exposed, that's better for a short time storage.
Yeah.
Kim says she's still loving her yarn cozy bags. Um, Lori says like in canvas garment bags for wool. Um, yeah, that should work. Like I said, as long as something's like, you know, where critters can't get in, you know, dampness, those type of things, dust. Okay, you have a good day, Kim. We should be wrapping up, finishing up in about 5 minutes. Let's see. Liz asks, how do you get the yarn? I think on the bobbins, or she says of the bobbins.
Oh, off the bobbins.
Oh, okay.
I have a homemade Lazy Kate, which is essentially a dowel that there's a hole um, punched into uh, a piece of wood. I put my bobbin on there, and I have an umbrella Swift that I don't use anymore, and I have a tabletop Swift. I put everything onto my tabletop Swift, wrap it into a hank, and then set my twist from there. And then I usually will rehank it because the size of the yarn changes when you set the twist. So I will rehank it and then leave it that way until I decide to use it.
Wait, let's see. Chris is saying it probably was just for info, but I don't remember sending it to you specifically. Yeah, because it was like, I mean, it sounded like you found something cheaper elsewhere, but it didn't say like, what it was or anything like that. It basically like had the amount of the purchase, I think your email, and it may have had like your name, but that was like basically it. And I was like, I don't really know what you're referring to. Oh, let's see. We have Tyler that joined us. Howdy, howdy. How are you? We're fixing to wrap things up, Tyler, but I do hope you decide to catch the replay. Um, Lori says only my dog for critters, but pets can, the hair and stuff like that from your pets. Um, you know, and like especially like yarns that you spend more money on, it is best to protect those babies.
Yeah, you're spending LYS money. You need to put them things wrapped in gold.
All right, so I think this pretty much covers everything. So I'm gonna come play my little closing video, and then we'll come back and say our byes. Oh, hold up. Liz is saying, asking if you can make a video on how to make your DAL. That's what it looks like. DAL.
I don't know, Liz. Catch me later and ask me. I'll tell you.
Okay. All right, let me get that video.
Oh, the dowel. I bet you she means
Oh.
for the lazy Kate.
Yeah. See, I'm not as familiar with, spinning. So like I said, some things just go. All right, where's my little video? Okay. Chris is saying I found Handy Hands thread about 50% of what Amazon is charging. Okay. And Cheryl's saying that it was Dow. That she must have been meaning.
Okay, so this is what I use for my lazy Kate. And I used the wrong word. It's not a dowel. It's just a piece of metal rod. And we just popped a hole in the wood. You just stick it through there. Stick it in that hole. And then it freely spins so that you can take the yarn off of there, or you can ply your yarn by having both filled up and ply them together. And this just makes it so you don't have bobbins flying around the room while you're trying to ply.
Yeah, and Frank likes to play with dowels. Yeah, Lori saying dowel, aka toilet plunger handle from Dollar Tree. But yeah, Granny D should be live any minute now. So y'all go alien invade Granny D. Tell her Connie sent y'all. And again, I want to thank y'all all for watching. I enjoyed chatting with y'all, and I hope today's live was helpful. And thank you, Bridget, for coming live with me and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, I think that covers everything. So I hope y'all all have a very, 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 very fabulous Yarny day. Did I say very enough? Be the light. Be the light, and bye.